He is running for the United States Senate in the Democratic primary, and Barack has been here perhaps 5 or 6 times. I almost might lose my host position. He's done this show so often.
As he enters the final weeks of the campaign in a strong position, Barack Obama has been in presidential candidate mode for nearly 2 years now. By necessity, he's guarded. How was he similar or different before millions of people were listening intently? A series of interviews that Mr. Obama gave to a public access show based in the Chicago suburbs provides a glimpse. Jeff Berkowitz is the show's host. He's a former lawyer who's often not shy about expressing his conservative views, but he developed a liking for Mr. Obama.
Why do you like him despite his views? Because he treats your views respectfully.
The interviews were during a critical period in Mr. Obama's career, in between a failed run for Congress in 2000 and his widely acclaimed 2004 speech at the Democratic National Convention.
Tonight is a particular honor for me because, let's face it, my presence on this stage is pretty unlikely.
We have to step back and take a look at the context of the whole debate surrounding racial profiling in this country.
The first encounter was a discussion of racial profiling, and Mr. Obama sounded at times more like his constitutional law professor self than a politician.
Kind of an academic discussion. That's pure Barack Obama. That's the Barack Obama I know. If you look at anything, it's just because he's so relaxed, and he's so into just this dialogue that you're having.
George W. Bush had taken office less than 2 months before, and the long recount in Florida was still very much on people's minds. Mr. Obama at this point was an observer, not a player.
The election was a boon for lawyers and law professors. They had a good time talking about these issues.
In 2 interviews the following year, you could see things were changing for Mr. Obama. He was talking openly about running for the U.S. Senate, and the conversation broadened to all topics.
I think generally the execution of the war in Afghanistan exceeded, I think, expectations.
In the months afterwards, the situation in Iraq took center stage. There had been a crucial vote in the U.S. Senate, and Mr. Obama had given his much-cited speech against the war.
What I do oppose is a dumb war.
2 months later, Mr. Obama reiterated his position, but was somewhat less forceful about the Senate vote itself.
If it had come to me in an up or down vote as it came, I think I would have agreed with our senior Senator Dick Durbin and voted nay.
Mr. Obama's voice on a variety of issues was coming into focus. When asked about health care, the way he discussed it had strong echoes 6 years later.
I think there was just a poorly conceived process that Hillary Clinton put forward.
Senator Clinton and the administration went behind closed doors, excluded the participation even of Democratic members of Congress who had slightly different ideas.
By the time Mr. Obama next sat in Mr. Berkowitz's chair, the invasion of Iraq had commenced. The statue of Saddam Hussein had fallen. Mr. Bush had made his infamous appearance on the aircraft carrier, and Mr. Obama's opposition to the war seemed stronger.
My analysis said that Saddam Hussein was not an imminent threat.
At the time, the war still had strong public support, and Saddam Hussein's 2 sons had been killed in the days before. At the same time, signs of the long insurgency to come were evident. Mr. Obama was also embroiled in what he thought was going to be a difficult Senate primary battle, and he was working hard to distinguish himself from his Democratic opponents.
Everybody had concerns about the war. The question was, how would you have voted on a specific resolution giving George Bush carte blanche?
While he didn't use the term, he was formulating the judgment argument, which would become a hallmark of his run for the presidency. The final interview was another auspicious moment. Mr. Obama was 1 week away from the 2004 Democratic Convention.
I think he realizes he's now in the big time, and there are people around him. We didn't set that interview up by me just calling him. That was set up in negotiated times and whatnot.
The fact that Mr. Obama was outgrowing the show was crystallized during one of Mr. Berkowitz's signature moments, using a backpack to demonstrate a point about his pet issue, school vouchers.
We spend about $10,000 per year operating costs. 200,000 are failing
I'll use
students.
this opportunity to get my drink of water.
All right, use that opportunity.
In the intervening years, Mr. Obama has moved on to much bigger stages and interviewers, but it was those early interactions that may reveal the most about the candidate Mr. Obama has become.
Brock, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Jeff. I enjoy it.